Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to walk you through how to paint this lovely little magic cup using just 3 colours and a little bit of gold gouache. All the materials that I'm using today are going to be in the description below. Nobody really likes long intros, so I'm going to just get started. What a lovely sunny day. I got to do this. Anyway, it was a gorgeous sunny day in April 2025, so you can just see me sketching out a cup there. It's sort of half from my imagination, half from a class that I hosted a while back, very similar to a cup that I own. It's just a nice simple shape. You can either take a picture of a cup that you like the look of and then trace it if you find that easier. There's absolutely no shame in it. Just do what is easy for you. It's all about the painting. So yeah, just sort of straightening up that sketch, and then I'm going in here with a waterproof pen. Just makes the process so easy. So just no stress. You get this lovely sort of line and wash effect. Feels sort of like colouring in, very cathartic, very effective for an image, and just a nice way around of doing things. So once that's all on there with the pen, I'm just gonna pick up my eraser rubber if you're in the US. I gather rubber sounds weird if you're in the US, and something else. Anyway, yeah, so just going over it with the pen, adding in the rim detail, because I do need that. It's quite important because it does act like a little bit of a barrier between the two sections, and it can help you be able to work on one section without the other section being dry. You can just have this little dry barrier in between. It's quite handy. So yeah, just gently rubbing that off there, getting rid of the pencil marks. Should be left with some nice clean simple Micron is the brand of pen I use there. And then we can get into some painting. Just remembered, I wanted to draw in the line of where the T sits. So, what are we going to do first? So I'm going in with Winsor blue. A gorgeous vibrant blue, just making a little wash. Painting wet onto dry. Just this piece inside the cup. I've made the paint quite thick there because in my image I want to imagine that this bit is sort of in shadow because it's inside the cup. So I've gone quite heavy-handed with the wash. Wet onto dry also helps with that because I'm not diluting it further with water already on the page, i.e. if I was doing wet into wet. And you can have some nice control there as well with wet into dry. So just dipping now into the opera pink, probably my favourite pink. It's insanely bright, it's kind of luminescent almost. Just dropping that in both those corners. And they're both primary colours in watercolour, so they'll never make mud pink and blue. It'll always have this kind of magic vibrancy to it. So, and that'll dry lighter as well. So now for the main bit of the cup, the whole front bit of the cup, I'm going to just fill the whole thing in with just water. a fair bit of water, maybe even a bit more than normal because I was sat outside and the sun was beaming down, as you can see, and which makes it dry out faster. Now I'm just dropping some of that Winsor blue straight from the palette into some of the corners and getting these lovely, gorgeous, kind of magical things that watercolour does when you paint wet into wet. These organic white spaces that just emerge, and you know, the less control almost, the better here. So now I'm just dropping in bits of pink because I want to get somewhere to a really nice purple. I've got a big white blob in the middle, so just added a drop more water to get it moving. Getting the paint moving in the handle as well. Carry on with that lovely organic bloom of the paint in the water. So just tipping it there to kind of get it moving a little bit. You can see it's sort of drier on one side and all the water's puddled into the other side. It's fine, doesn't matter, it'll do what it wants to do. So I'm resisting using my brush to move the paint around and just tilting instead. That way you get to keep that lovely organic spread of water and paint instead of brush marks, which don't really look very magical in this context. Adding a bit more pink because it's overwhelmingly blue and I like the purple. I want to see some purpley tones coming in. And I'm letting it mix on the page, you know, instead of mixing up a purple and painting a purple cup. I want a bit more dimension than that. It's almost like kind of galaxy colours. Just lifting up some of the water because it really was a big puddle down there. Fine. Adding in more pink. It's actually really tricky to not overwork. It's really hard because you just want to tease it and, you know, make it do what you want, but it will do beautiful things. You have to just have faith that it will dry in an interesting way. So I did actually fill in that little bottom part and I just let the paint there flood through. Now I'm just putting some water into where the tea goes. Really important to leave a few little dry spots because I don't want the tea colour to flood this whole section. I want to see little highlights of white page to look like little reflections on the tea. I'm using, I think that's Quinacridone Gold, but I'll put the colour in the description. If you haven't got this colour, Quinacridone Gold is a great alternative. So my painting was completely dry at this point before I started adding in that, so you will need to let your painting dry. So I'd put the water in first, and I'm just dropping in that thick gold paint just in the corner, and then hoping it'll run. Again, trying not to tease it too much and letting it have that kind of lovely, magical, swirly whirly, non-uniform effect. So I'm actually mixing up purple here because I want to do a little shadow on that little side of the handle, just to give the handle a bit of dimension and to bring out that sort of tubular shape of the handle, and a bit of shadow where the cup connects to the base there as well. I'm going in now with the gold gouache. This paint is amazing. What I really like about it as well is when you use it and then you clean your brush, you get this gorgeous glitter in the paint water, and then you use that paint water again and it goes through into other colours and everything's glittery, and in my mind that's never a bad thing. So just painting on some little moons here, little moons and stars, just randomly where I feel like it. Trying to kind of change the size. I'm confident I was inspired to paint this cup by a beautiful cup I'd seen on a website somewhere and I can't remember. So if you know what cup might have inspired this one, do drop a comment and give the designer of that cup some credit. I know, with this kind of celestial image with the pink and purple it's quite a common image, but still, it's a beautiful one. So whoever did it first deserves credit. So now I'm just putting in this gold into the rim of the cup. So my lovely little cup has a gold rim, which I think a lot of like sort of fancier cups tend to. It's like a feature often of a slightly fancy cup, your favourite cup or mug, if you like. So now just going in with a bit of water underneath to paint in some shadow. So done a kind of flat oval shape with water, and then a little sort of arm coming off with water to suggest where the handle is cast in the shadow. I'm just using the same blue as the blue I used in the cup. And a bit of pink, because quite often when you've got an object and it casts a shadow, the colour from the object goes into the shadow. You can by all means use, mix up some sort of grey tone for a shadow. I just really like the vibrancy of a purpley shadow. Just blurring out the edges a little bit. Wasn't sure here if I wanted a really sharp shadow, and I think I changed my mind and thought it should be sharper on one side and slightly more blurred on the other. Adding a bit more pigment to the shadow, make that shadow pop a bit more. Remember, it does dry 4 times later than when you first put it on. So yeah, just trying to make a slightly sharper line on that side. In my opinion, and on reflection, I've kind of overworked this shadow a little bit. I think I've gone over it a touch too much. Should have been a bit more light-handed and a bit more trusting of the process, but as you can see, I can't stop tinkering with it. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you've got any questions on any parts of the process, please don't hesitate to reach out or drop a comment in. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content and you want to see more. Thanks, see you next time.